This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Across America, we're happy to be joined now by John DaSilva, racingwithbruno.com and capitalotv.com. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Seth. Sorry to hear about the voice, but we'll make it one way or another.
Yeah, that's right. Barely made it through yesterday, and I said yesterday, that's part of the entertainment value. Will I make it through the show? So it's something it's a little tease to keep people tuned right into the end, but we're so far we're plugging away. But speaking of capitalotv.com, folks can find your selections there every racing day for New York racing, but also you've got a pick four bankroll play today.
Yes, I do have a pick four bankroll, and it's going to be a little challenging today with the 6th and 8th races off the turf. And scratches, shockingly for Naira, they're already up. So in the 6th race, we're down to a field of 6, and the 8th race is down to a field of 5. So we're definitely going to be playing some multiple tickets, more than 50 cents in certain combinations to try and make some money today, because we got at least one heavy favorite, which is a must-use, but that means you need some value in some other areas.
Yes, it's been a tough fall for racing in the Northeast, New York in particular, losing a lot of turf racing. Hopefully we can keep together for tomorrow and the feature. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes, the Long Island handicap. But boy, it's just been wet, damp, cold, and that's been unfortunate for fans of the turf. But for folks who are playing this afternoon, what's the weather look like overall?
Well, it's sunny right now. It is still cool, but like you said, it's no turf racing today. The track is listed as muddy. It probably will remain muddy the whole day because I don't think we have enough wind to dry it off like we had in California last week.
All right, let's kick things off. Take a look at the opener today, a state-bred maiden. 40 tags, they're going to go a mile. Your thoughts on the first?
It's an interesting race. I mean, you have the race on October 30th where False Positive was able to finish ahead of Fit to Keep. But I think it's going to be reversed today. Fit to Keep made a career debut that day, going 6.5, went off the favorite. Now it stretches out to a mile, and I think the horse was a little bit green that day, will improve under the hot riding Manny Franco, and will reverse the tables against False Positive.
Sounds good. Let's shift our attention now, go out to the 4th race today. Let me scroll down. 4th race today, maiden special for 3-year-olds and up. It was scheduled on the turf at a mile. Your thoughts? Oh, wait a minute. I skipped one race over. We wanted to talk about the 3rd. So let me go back. And the 3rd race today, 25,000 conditional claimer. N2L is the condition. They're going to go 6 furlongs. Your thoughts in the 3rd?
I mean, I want to talk about this race because we got the new jockey in town, Michael Ritvo, who's on the favorite Abide in Me. And people who are familiar with Michael Ritvo, he's the son of Tin Ritvo. And this is a kid who started off slow, but once he started winning down in Florida, he really did very well. He shipped up to Delaware, and in a short period of time at Delaware, he really racked up a lot of wins. If he was there for the whole meet, he would have destroyed the competition in terms of being leading jockey instead of being Carol Steno. But Ritvo now is being represented by Matt Muzikar. He dead heated in the 7th race yesterday, and he will be the top apprentice in New York as long as he stays healthy. And this kid does have a future right now. So Abide for me, I will look at, but definitely look out for Michael Ritvo, not only this horse, but many horses in the future.
Yeah, he's going to be very, very intriguing to watch over the winter, as you say. Started the career out very nicely in Florida, then moved up to the Mid-Atlantic for a few months to kind of, I think, take advantage of the apprentice allowance up in the Northeast. He can bounce around on days off and ride there as well. And he's been very intriguing to watch, and he's going to be fun to watch all winter long now down in New York. All right, let's shift our attention to the 5th race this afternoon. Let me scroll back up. Race number 5. Race number 5 today is, if I can find it here, and 5th today, optional claimer, 80 tags, a C-level condition. 3-year-olds and up, they'll go the 1-turn mile on the Aqueduct main track. Your thoughts in the 5th?
Very intriguing race because you're seeing something you don't see too often where Top Fletcher had percussion down in Florida training at Palm Beach Downs. He's not even at Palm Meadows. He's training at the other training center, Palm Beach. And this horse has been working out very well. Then he ships the horse back up here to run, and he's dropping in class. But at the same time, you got David Jacobson with an uncoupled entry of Spicy Fever and Tenango, and both those horses did not scratch. There were no scratches in this race, so I'm expecting Jacobson to have Spicy Fever, do all the dirty work, have percussion, wear down, and then Tenango picks up the pieces and gets the victory here.
That is an interesting angle, though. The horse, as you say, this time of year to see a horse go from Florida to New York is it's kind of the opposite of what we normally think. So that's intriguing from the Pletcher angle, but you're going to take a little shot against in here. All right, let's take a look out tomorrow. And again, we got to keep our fingers crossed on the weather because the feature tomorrow down at Aqueduct, the Long Island Handicap, a Grade 3 scheduled for the grass. They're going to go a mile and a half, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. And John, while we talk, I pulled up the Glens Falls from Saratoga because I wanted to show Viva Raffaella from Todd Pletcher. Will be the number 2 horse in here. Tries to take him all the way around and just gets caught late by Irish Mission. But Viva Raffaella with the early speed, I've said it many times before, it's almost counterintuitive, but the longer they go, the more dangerous speed is because they can get out there and the pace just isn't that fast. So if they can get out there and just kind of lope along on the lead, sometimes they're tough to reel in. So at this mile and a half distance, Viva Raffaella, very intriguing to me. But I think the 2 Europeans, the one moved into the Chad Brown barn and the one coming in from Dermot Weld, they're going to be very interesting as well. What are your thoughts on the Long Island?
Viva Raffaella is very intriguing because that horse will be the main speed. In 3 of the last 5 runnings up the Long Island, a horse has gone wide wire. Last year is Inimitable Romane, paying $58 to win. The year before it was Star Former, paying $18. Criticism wide field unyielding turf course in 2009. So it's going to be intriguing to see if speed can hold, and because she is the main speed, but Chad Brown is running Denza Cavallo here. Now, this is a horse trained by Brown, like I said, making the U.S. debut as Lasix, partially owned by Michael Dubb. You look at the past performances, this horse has 11 lifetime starts, most of it going a route. Only 2 have been against the girls. She's been running against the boys most of her career. So this could be a little bit of a, even though it's not group races out there, hey, might be a little bit of a class drop here. And I think with Irad riding, she can be very dangerous. Dermot Weld ships over Hellenistic. I mean, this is, when Dermot Weld ships, pay attention. I mean, this is a horse who did nothing but the last 2 starts, went on a yielding turf course, soft turf course, won the race. So this is a grass horse, and Dermot Weld wants to take a shot since there's no other spots for her in Europe right now. So I'm definitely going to use both Europeans over Viva Raffaella.
Yeah, and the 2 Europeans are very intriguing because we've talked about it before. Sometimes they can send their B string over and still have an edge on our group. These 2, I'm not even sure whether they're B string. They're more maybe C string because, as you say, neither one of them are showing group race performances. But I think they're both very, very intriguing and will, again, give us a little barometer on European versus American turf runners. All right, let's shift our attention now, John. We've been talking all week long with our guests about the Breeders' Cup, and we'll expand out as we go along over the next couple of minutes. But first up, the all-important question, your thoughts in the Classic, the non-DQ, the result, and whatnot.
It was very disappointing about what had happened. I mean, I understand the rage people have against what happened with Bayern at the start with everybody else, and it all goes back to interpretation, because stewards can't say, we don't like to speculate, but then at the same time, you're speculating at the start of the race that didn't make an effect. Come on. This is Moreno, who we knew was going to be out there on the lead. You saw the Jockey Club Gold Cup, how uncomfortable he was not racing on the lead. So you knew what the instructions were today. He never got the opportunity to do that. But at the same time, you have to look at how rules are written, the leeway they're giving the stewards, and how they interpret it. I mean, to me, you have to tighten up the rules. I mean, personally, I think a foul is a foul no matter where it is. And in a situation like that, Marino was not given the fair chance to do what he does best. You have to take that into consideration, because who knows if fines back Marino, we have that same result. Shared Belief was bothered, but I think Marino, as you saw with the ankle chip afterwards, he took the worst of it. coast of New York, they say it wasn't as bad. It's hard to tell from the angles that we had, but what I have disqualified, I would have disqualified, but that's because I'm interpreting it differently. I think what has to happen, they need to tighten up these rules so we don't have this problem again.
Yeah, I've said this earlier this week a couple of times. I'm all for stewards' discretion, and I think it goes back to, and you'll remember at the Migliori phone off the wall race, where you could look at the race and say with near certainty that the outcome wasn't affected by the foul. And I think the stewards should have that discretion when they look at a race and they can say with near certainty, okay, the result wouldn't have been changed because of anything. I want them to have discretion. But they've gone almost 180 degrees from that, where now they want proof that it would have made a difference. And to me, again, I like discretion, but as you say, maybe it takes a little tweaking and fine-tuning of the rules to get it to where we want it to be.
And it's a shame because it was a great race overall. Byron was game in victory, and nobody's talking about it. And granted, the racetrack was a little fast, and if you look at Byron's big victories, whether it's at the Haskell, whether it's in the PA Derby, or whether it was at the Breeders' Cup, tracks had a little tendency to be a little fast that day, and I think that definitely helped his chances.
Yeah, there's no question. I think everybody there's a consensus that the track was maybe favoring speed. There were a couple of races where things broke down a little bit with super fast paces, but yeah, Byron, I mean, if we all had known Marino would be out in the mix, I think we would have all given Byron a little more consideration. So that situation at the start certainly affected things, but we move on from there. At this point, what are you thinking as far as Horse of the Year?
It's a battle. Because of the controversy, Byron's hurt. Because normally, Byron would be the winner hands down. But because there are people who are holding what happened at the start against Byron, because there are people who are anti-Bob Baffert, it would not surprise me if Main Sequence gets up and gets a victory. Because if you have Byron losing votes for 3-year-old champion to Share Belief and California Chrome, and they eliminate each other, and we saw in the poll when Main Sequence had a lot of support, it would not surprise me Main Sequence gets the job done, which is a shame because I know that some people want to push Wise Dan, but both horses are 4 for 4, but who won the bigger races? Main Sequence 4 for 4 in Grade 1, Wise Dan 3 for 4 in Grade 1, but did not make the big dance through no fault of his own. He's a great champion, and it's a shame, but you have to give it to Main Sequence.
The Horse of the Year is going to be very intriguing. The 3-year-old will be intriguing too. It seems like Byron maybe has an edge on California Chrome, but with the controversy, it's going to play out. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Give us some of your thoughts on the rest of the weekend. Chad Brown, a big day for him. Wesley Ward, a big day for him. Lady Eli, we've talked this week, and a lot of folks thought that performance was really impressive. And despite this being a grass filly, she probably has sewn up the 2-year-old filly Eclipse with that performance. And then, of course, the retirement announcement by Rosie Napravnik. Overall, what were some of the news stories that intrigued you over the 2 days?
That shocked me with Rosie, but you couldn't have scripted a better moment.
Yeah.
I mean, all credit. I mean, seeing as she's married and her husband has a daughter already from a previous relationship, and I think that brought up the maternal instincts in her. And now that he's training on his own, he's being successful, now is the time to do it. Because Rosie's had a lot of injuries through the years. And, you don't want to keep on doing that to your body. Where one day, after all that metal that he put into her body, he says, okay, you're going to have problem having kids. Take advantage now. So gold credit for her. We're going to miss her. Lady Eli, tremendous. I mean, that's the 2-year-old champion, no doubt about it. Chad Brown, tremendous. Wesley Ward was tremendous. Texas Red, a lot of people liked. Some people think it reminded them of the Fleet Alex. The problem is that Lost American Pharaoh might be held against them. He may not be the 2-year-old champion because of it, which is a shame. But, unfortunately, that's mentality which goes on out there right now, that some people love that horse that much that they thought he couldn't lose. The way they ran that race, I'm not sure if that was the case because I think the jockey overcompensated because doing the Daredevil 5 wide. But but that's horse racing for you. You still have to go out there and do it on the racetrack.
And I'll also toss in and get some comments for you. New York bred program, Flatter, Day at the Spa wins, becomes the first Breeders' Cup Grade 1 winner as a New York bred. And I thought Upstart was a good third. Just got nipped late, but Upstart was a good third in the juvenile as well. So nice day for the New York breds as well.
New York breds have been tremendous this year, and especially the fillies, and the mares who are going out there. And it'll be very interesting because I think Dave Spa right now is definitely the leading candidate for the Eclipse Award for older filly and mare. And it would be great if she can get that. And then she got sold at Keeneland this week. A New York bred, you start with an advantage. We're doing it. I mean, it's getting bigger and better. Hopefully Sweet Reese and Algatera comes back next year. Hopefully we still have Lever Star going out to make it big. And then we got the New York bred juveniles and juvenile fillies. Some of them have some nice futures. I'll be very curious to see how they develop. A New York bred take advantage, despite all the voting controversy with the horsemen right now.
Yeah, I just read Big Brown moves into New York, right?
Big Brown's coming into New York. Yeah. We have Alphas coming into New York. I mean, it is going to be a lot of nice New York bred stallions to choose from next year. So I can't wait. I wish I had it.
Had the advantage. There you start with the advantage with the New York breds. John, we appreciate the visit this morning, the conversation, the thoughts on New York today and tomorrow. A reminder, John DaSilva has a Pick 4 bankroll at capitalotb.com this afternoon. You can find more about that on the website, capitalotb.com, as well as John's picks for New York racing every racing day. Appreciate the visit. We'll talk to you next week.